I saw a tweet a few days ago. It was put up by Kami on his Twitter account, and it's just a general representation of what he perceives the three platforms are going for. But I think, and pardonnez-moi, Okami 13, there might be a fundamental error in the way you have classified PlayStation. And again, guys, I'm not trying to dog on anybody. I'm just trying to say one of the best things that we can do is we can be more, we can be very much well-rounded if we would interpret everything with broader context. Why? Because video gaming industry is based on a lot of time differential. Something that was a thing 5 years ago will change and has changed, severely. So you have to kind of put everything in one bucket, or get a bigger bucket to be able to get a better understanding. So he said January gave us a sense of direction of the three major platform holders where they're heading in 2025, in my own paraphrasing. PlayStation, pivot from live service, ideally bigger focus on single player going forward. This is where I already saw that's not the case. And not just me. As of the time he posted it on the 2nd of February, this first comment here, Hunter Chidester said, "Why do you think Sony is pivoting away from live service? Double question marks." Those are just the games that internally didn't achieve what they wanted. It has nothing to do with the pivot. And we know this simply because there were 3 games that still got confirmed that they were coming. The Horizon game that's being developed by Guerrilla themselves, a live service one. Fair Games. And Bungie's Marathon. Ain't no pivot there. That would give us 5. Because there was Concord, which was then deleted as Helldivers 2, and then these 3. They said 12, right? They canceled 9, so we get 5. Still a big number. So I can't see that. And then they went ahead and they said, with Xbox continuing their multi-platform push with a strong lineup of Game Pass content already locked in 2025, that is very accurate. Nintendo getting the Switch 2 out the door and making the transition as smooth as possible. Partially accurate, but also the piece of them inviting more multi-platform people into their ecosystem, something that they've confirmed. That's going to be the very interesting piece of Nintendo's ecosystem. I think they're going to thrive. I was mistaken when I thought they were going to create a pressure, but then I remembered that these companies are spending, freaking $300 million to make games. Nintendo is still probably spending, college dropout money on making, and no offense, college dropout, Kanye is one of his first albums, my favorite album. Anyways, still making these games and being super profitable, so they're going to be fine, and then they're going to also eat 30% on top of it all. So I think the Switch 2 is bound for success. That's my thinking. I see nothing holding it back. And I also see it giving the Series S a high five and saying, you've suffered too much. I've come to help you out. Because now I'm going to hold gaming back. I had to throw that in there. But this categorization here that Kami has put, and yes, I know it's a summary. Don't get me wrong. I understand. Just trying to be for brevity's sake. But here's the challenge, though. Kami's thinking is not in isolation, because there are other folk in the PlayStation community who have been expressing this exact sentiment that, you see, the live service thing was bad, so they're pivoting away from the live service thing. Guys, why would they want to go back to blowing $300 million to barely sell the games, cut the lifetime short, then port it to PC, then have all these issues that Spider-Man 2 is having? Why would they want to go back and doing that as their own bread and butter with all the risk that's involved? You'd think they would want to replicate the game that even when they tried to kill it, it still beat Spider-Man 2 in sales, aka Helldivers 2. I mean, if they pivot back to single-player games as their bread and butter, it will be the stupidest move ever. I'm just being serious, ladies and gentlemen. From a financial and fiscal perspective, if I was in anybody's shoes in PlayStation, or if anybody else is in anybody's shoes, the mix is where PlayStation actually is going to thrive. If they can get the second piece out, which is the live service side, which I'm rooting for them. Some of you don't realize. I see these people saying in this comment section, you make a video complaining about PlayStation every day. No, I'm rooting for PlayStation. I don't want a dominant Xbox. You don't understand. Some of you are not even strategic at the end of the day. I am the consumer here. I can't let one person be stronger. Why? I want both of them to keep fighting. I want both of them to keep being at each other's neck. Why? Because I come in and I get the best benefit because they're both trying to earn whatever resources that they want from me. So I'm on PlayStation's team. I'm Team Blue on the live service push for them to hit and strike more in terms of gold, because Xbox is decimating them in this category. Like, Xbox is filleting them and flambeing them and serving it up for everybody on Game Pass. I mean, if you don't get the memo by now, like the biggest game of the year has about 4 or 5 different options for you to play it. One of them being a $12 a month subscription on average. Come on now. $12 a month. If you know where to look. Don't give me that, oh, it's $19.90. Get the heck out of here. So if this dynamic is not really resonating with you yet, and all you want to do is come and sit down and yell Xbox fanboy blah 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 and just blurt out nonsense, I recommend and I plead with you to think a little bit strategically. Get out of your emotions. A lot of folk are so emotional about this stuff. These companies don't care about you. However, if you're going to engage in a conversation and you want to leverage the very best of everything, which means you want to put yourself in a position where as a consumer you have power. That's it. The consumer's power is right there. By all means, be well knowledgeable as to what may be going on in the background. Get some street smarts. Everyone in the gaming scene right now is up in arms about just the surface level of what's going on. Some PlayStation players are like, I don't want them to do live service. It's a stupid live service. Homie, it's Call of Duty that's been paying for all y'all's games. It literally has been carrying that platform. If it wasn't, Jim Ryan would never have uttered these words from his mouth or pen or wherever the heck it came from. Our business would never recover if Microsoft degraded Call of Duty on PlayStation. If PlayStation was not relying on Call of Duty, he would never have made that statement. In fact, he went over to all of his people in the email and said, it's okay, we'll be fine with Call of Duty. It's not an exclusivity play. A sigh of relief. And people are still here fighting over my exclusive, my single player. I don't like mockery. But some of you tempt. Why do you do this to me? I don't know why. I can't imagine why anybody would do that when we all know the truth. And the thing is, you see, I don't believe for a moment that most PlayStation players who are basically trying to heckle in the comment section and talk about cope and all this nonsense, I don't believe that they're unaware of the truth. I don't believe it for 1 second. I think that they are purposefully obfuscating the truth that they realize and they know. Do you know why? They're gamers. They fire up their PlayStation. What PlayStation does is it has a place where you see your friends and see what they're playing. They understand the exact reason for that. The people who design the UI and the UX, they're not fools. They want you to see what your friends are playing so that you may possibly visit the PlayStation Store. So that you may possibly buy a game, whether it be a PlayStation game or a third-party game. PlayStation makes money anyways from it, but it's right there in front of you. They all see what their friends are playing. They know what their friends are playing. So they know how the market is going. They know what's happening. So they're not unaware. They're very aware because the reality is right in front of them. And this, ladies and gentlemen, to me, is the most critical piece of the entire puzzle, to be very honest with you. And if at this point and at this moment in time, we're still having these conversations where nobody is seeing how much PlayStation is behind, I gotta say, man, I don't think at any point we'll be able to get to truth. I think what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing all kinds of weird nonsense at the end of the day. But it is what it is. Talk to me in the comment section. Appreciate you guys' time and audience. Peace out.